Good morning again everyone and welcome back. Today's video is a little bit different because I've had a little bit of a project on the go in the pipeline out of the way. So I decided this week was going to be the week where I redecorated our teeny weeny tiny toilet room. Now this project should not have taken me very long at all. In fact, I think I gave myself something like 3 or 4 days to get the entire project done, start to finish. I had most of the stuff arrived already and the rest of it ordered and on the way. So I got going with this toilet revamp, and it's actually ended up taking a lot longer than expected, so unfortunately I've had to split the video into 2 parts. So today we are doing part 1 of the toilet room revamp. So I've started off, the walls are already clean. I have gone through with some filler, filled the holes and sanded the walls down, and now it is time to start in with a little bit of paint. Now, one of my favourite paints and one of the paints that I've used throughout the house is this one that I'm using currently while I'm doing the cutting in, and this is Dulux's paint in the colour Natural Hessian. Now, one of the things that I love the most about having the same colours running throughout the house is that most of the time it does not look like the same colour running through the house. They look very, very different. So in this room, where it's been white for so long, this colour looks very, very dark and very, very oppressive, and I must admit when I started painting I felt a little bit dubious about whether or not I was going to keep the room this colour. But now that I've got it on the wall, I absolutely love it. I still am in love with it, but it doesn't look like I've gone round the house with the same colours and done the same colours everywhere, which is really, really nice. And it also means that in my shed I only have to have 2 tins of paint, one in the green colour that I use everywhere and one in the Natural Hessian, and I can go and touch up any paint nicks or anything like that, and I don't have loads and loads of pots of paint everywhere, which is wonderful. So yes, I know those among you who have decorated before are going to be really angry with me right now, but I am using a teeny weeny roller. I prefer a teeny weeny roller if I can, for a couple of reasons. A, I feel like you get a slightly more even coverage on the wall, even though it takes a coat or 2 more. I will not pretend it doesn't. It takes more coats. But also because I am having a little bit of an issue with carpal tunnel in my wrists, so I don't really want a huge heavy roller, and having to put the pressure on the huge heavy roller, it's not going to agree with my wrists. So I'm using a teeny weeny roller, and I think I ended up doing, it was either 3 or 4 coats in the end of this Natural Hessian paint. Now, had I have used a big fluffy roller, I probably could have done it in 2, maybe even 1, but I think more likely 2. However, I had this time dedicated for this project. I enjoy decorating, I enjoy painting, and so it wasn't really a concern of mine to get it done quickly. I just wanted to enjoy the process and capture it for you guys. So yeah, tiny roller to the rescue. It didn't take that long. As you can see, this room is incredibly small. It's no bigger really than the size of a cubicle that you would get in a public toilet restroom. It's really no bigger than that anyway, so I knew it wasn't going to take long, even with the tiny roller, and I'm very, very glad for my wrist's sake that I did end up using the tiny roller. So the idea with this toilet was I wanted it to feel very characterful and a little bit moody. So most of the rest of my house is in Overtly Olive by Dulux and Natural Hessian, this colour I'm using here. And it feels very calm, very neutral, but I feel like in a small room like this you can get away with having it a little bit more punchy, have a little bit more personality to it, that if I tried to do in the bigger rooms would probably not quite work. I mean, it would look very good, but I would get very fed up with it very quickly. Because this is a small space, I can afford to be a little bit more adventurous with the decorating in here and have it have its own little personality. This room has been whitewashed for approximately 2 years, maybe a little bit over 2 years now, and I'm fed up with it. It's very boring and clinical, and you know, I don't love it. I want to feel cozy and warm and kind of enveloped in my house. Enveloped in my house. And I want to feel cozy and calm. So yeah, I'm gonna do the painting. I've also painted the ceiling in the same colour. I know a lot of people are doing the kind of I can't remember what it's called now, colour blocking now. And I wanted to try it in a little room to see if I like it. I do like it in my bedroom, and I do like it in here. So it might be that the whole house will get colour blocked, but we'll see. So for this extractor fan, I was really looking for an antique brass cover for it. And I couldn't find one to fit this particular extractor fan. I did check that it is earthed. It's fine. So I went over it with a little bit of the antique brass rub and buff to kind of tie it in with the colours I'm going for. Otherwise there would have been this very stark white box on the wall and it wouldn't quite have worked. And the rub and buff did a very good job. Now, I don't know if this is going to last. I don't think it's really designed for things like this. However, this room is not particularly humid. I don't think it's going to have any issues. And I think it was a very quick job that came out really, really nicely. So I'm just going to go with it, and we're going to hope that that holds on. As a part of the colour blocking, I'm also going to be doing the skirting boards in the same natural Hessian colour. But obviously this is a satin wood paint rather than I think it was a matte that I used on the wall. I think it was a matte. It doesn't actually look the same colour while I'm painting it, but believe me, it is. It cost me a fortune. It's really hard to get hold of. I think everyone's kind of going for these sorts of colours at the minute. So I'm very, very glad that I got hold of it. I'm hoping and praying that I'm going to have enough to do the inside of the door as well, but we'll have to wait and see. I might just have a little pop back up to B&M where I found this in the first place and just get another couple of pots just to have on hand for touch-ups. But yes, the skirting boards are also going the natural Hessian just to block that colour in, and I much, much prefer it. Now these skirting boards are not actually skirting boards, they are just some pieces of leftover wood that the people who came in to do the toilet and bathroom had left over, and they just kind of plonked them on the wall. So eventually I would like to change the skirting out to something a little bit more traditional, not quite so blocky and square. To me that's just a little bit too modern. I prefer things to look a little bit more kind of modern country-esque. So yeah, I'm going to get these changed out eventually, but today is not going to be that day. I've got enough to change in this room as is. So today they're just going to get painted, and further down the line when I am changing the skirting board in the rest of the house, I will just room by room change the skirting boards in here as well. They will be higher. They will be more of a, what do you call it, like a scalloped, kind of curved, inny-outy, traditional style tall skirting board. I think that's going to look really, really gorgeous in here. So on to day 2 already, and it's time for wallpaper. Now I promised myself I was not going to wallpaper ever again, because in our house we have a lot of issue with damp, and a lot of the times the wallpaper will be on the wall for a week, maybe 2, and then boom, it will start to come off where the damp is getting behind it. However, our housing association have been very, very good. We've got lots of nice new extractor fans and vents and all kinds of things, and we have just gone through our first winter without any new blooms of mould. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm kind of satisfied that that's probably dealt with. So I thought I'd get brave, and I got some peel and stick wallpaper. This is my first experience with wallpaper, and at this point in the video I'm feeling very sure of myself, very confused as to why other people are saying that this is difficult to work with. I do find out to my detriment that this is an absolute nightmare to work with. It's very, very easy to get this first piece up. I will not pretend it's not. It's very, very easy. And for things like draw liners and stuff like that, it would be perfect. But putting up the rest of it and trying to get the pattern to match while the wallpaper is sticking to the wall, and do not believe what they say on the listing. It will take the paint off, and it did take the paint off. It was a nightmare. I'm never getting peel and stick wallpaper again. But I did manage to get it up. There are a couple of points on the wall where unfortunately I have had to patch because the pattern match on this wallpaper was so far apart that even though I had 2 rolls for this tiny piece of wall, I ended up having to patch little bits. Hopefully it's not all that visible on the end results. So I had these few little pieces left over, and I figured I'm gonna do the front of the drawers because this is basically Fablon. This is nothing more than Fablon. It's not actually wallpaper, it's just sticky back plastic that they've labelled as wallpaper, which is probably why I had such a difficult time trying to put it on the wall. But it's perfect for the front of these little boxes. So I am very much in a make do amend mentality at the moment, or trying to be on the most part. I only want to spend money on big projects around the house and important things. I spend a lot of money on places like Amazon, on rubbish, and so I'm really trying to make do and mend where I can this year to save myself a few quid. So there's nothing wrong with this little drawer system. It's just the wrong colour, and I really wanted to kind of tie it in with the rest of the room. So on the main drawer, I went over it with some Oak Effect Fablon that I had from a previous project laying around. And on the front of these little drawers, I'm just going to pop these leftover little bits of the green. And I have a couple of antique brass little knobs that are going to go on the front of that, and just tie it all in and hopefully make it look a little bit prettier. So I'm going to get these drawers done. We're going to pop them into the main frame with the rest of it, and I'm hoping it's going to look right until I can find like the perfect little drawer system. We don't have much storage in our little toilet, so we do need places to store the loo rolls and cleaning cloths and sanitary supplies and stuff like that. So it is a necessary evil to have it in there, but I would like it to be a bit more tied in. So the last little job that I'm going to be doing today proved very fiddly, but was actually to pop the toilet roll holder. I'm changing the toilet roll holder to an antique brass one. It's very beautiful, but whoever's idea it was to secure these things with the tiny little Allen keys, it's not okay. How are you supposed to turn it when it's up against the wall? I had great fun trying to do this, trying to get it on the wall, but I absolutely love it. However, when I've got basically like a dado rail and some trim pieces to make like a wainscoting kind of feel on the bottom half, I might have to move this down. I've been looking at it in the week since I did this and thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to move it down, it's going to be in the way. I might be able to do the actual dado rail a little bit higher, but I'm going to see how that looks when it finally arrives, and I'll be doing that on part 2 of the video. But for today, this is going to be the last part of it. I did have to cut it because I got myself a little bit frustrated. It was the end of a very long day. I'd just been battling with that wallpaper, and now it was time to do battle with this. It was not playing the game. The kids were asking me 1,000 questions. It was hot. I had work due. So I did end up cutting the footage so you don't hear or see any expletives. But yes, it did get done. And it was actually quite simple once I let myself calm down, and just sometimes you need to take breaks. So that's going to be the end of part 1, and I will see you in the next video for part 2. Hope you have a great day. Bye! Hello again everyone, and thank you so much for your patience while I get this job done. We finally have part 2 of the toilet room makeover video. So we are on day, I don't know, 67, something like that, of this revamp. It feels like I've been doing this room forever, and I still have no paneling wood. It is taking forever to arrive. So I have decided today to tackle the satin wood finish on the door. I was going to wait until the house was empty so that I could take this door off completely, grab a roller and take it out into the garden and give it the coat of paint with the roller outside in the garden, let it dry naturally, and then rehang it. However, that day it's just not going to come. There's always someone in the house. There's always somebody who needs a wee or whatever. So I decided to leave the door on. I know it's a bit of a rookie error, but I decided to leave the door on and painted it with a brush instead. I don't really mind painting doors and skirting and things like that with a brush. It doesn't really bother me. I would rather use a roller, yeah, and get it done nice and quick. But in all honesty, I had a brush nearby, I had my satin wood, I had some time, so off I went. So I've taken the door handle off so I can fit this lovely new one. Now, we're not going to get too excited because A, Kerry messed this up pretty significantly, and B, I had to remove this handle later on because I realised that the lock mechanism didn't have a mechanism. It was just a decorative lock. It didn't do anything. So I had to take this handle off and put the old one back on again. So after all this faffing around, yeah. So I put the handles on initially, as you can see me doing in the video here, and silly girl, I forgot to put the pin in to actually operate the handle, and I forgot to put the lock pin in as well. See, this lock has a pin, but it doesn't have a mechanism for the lock to actually stop the handle from moving. So I was devastated. These handles were expensive. The seller that I got them from has conveniently closed down, so I can't return them, and I can't get my money back either. So I had to take the loss on these, and I'm really struggling to find some that are like it to replace it with. So yes, you can see me putting the new handle on. I was so excited. I love these so much. However, we are back to the chrome handle, unfortunately. I ended up taking these on and off about 4 times before I figured out the problem was that we didn't have a lock mechanism on the back. And it's only when I compared it to my old handle that I realised there's no actual mechanism in this handle for the lock to actually lock the door, which renders it useless, really. So I got fed up with that, as you can imagine, and I decided to I've got a little shelf just for a couple of, you know, fake plants. I haven't got a window in here, so a real plant wouldn't survive. A couple of fake plants, maybe a fake candle. Obviously I don't want a candle burning in here when there's nobody in here either. So a little LED candle, some fake plants. So I just marked out the hole, made sure it was all level, popped some wall plugs in, and now I'm just going to hang the little shelf. It's only a cute little thing. I think it was something like $9.99 from Amazon. It came in a set of 3. This is the biggest one. They're all quite small, but I found them very, very useful around the house for little spaces where I did need a little bit of storage. So $9.99 well spent. They're very lightweight. It's not going to last long, but it looks cute for the time being, and it's something that I can do while I'm waiting for this blasted wood to arrive, if it ever arrives. I'm also going to be hanging, I got a small mirror, again from Amazon, somewhere around £15. It is plastic, and I used some of the rub and buff. It was white, so I painted it black, and then I used some of the rub and buff that I used on the extractor fan cover earlier on part 1 to just go over that and give it a nice kind of antique gold looking frame. So finally we are on the penultimate day. This wasn't the very last day because I had to give some time for the glue to dry, but the wood has finally arrived. I spent a lot of time yesterday painstakingly measuring out the wall and figuring out where I wanted the panels to go so that when it did arrive I could just make some quick cuts, which I did, and literally just stick them on the wall where I have already. I don't think you can see it in the video. You might be able to on a very big screen, but I do already have the boxes drawn out on the wall in pencil where I want the wood panelling to go. So it does look like I'm kind of winging it on the small screen that I'm looking at, but I promise you it's all been measured out, it's all been leveled off. I do use my spirit level a couple of times while I'm doing this just to make sure, because it looks a little bit off. So either my spirit level is off or my house is off, and knowing my house is off for sure. We have walls that bulge in and out, we have wonky door frames, we have wonky window frames, we've got it's a whole lot of chaos. Clearly nobody with a spirit level showed up when they were building this house, so I'm kind of using a combination of spirit level and eye, kind of to eye level. If it looks a little bit off, I'm just gonna just pop it out a little bit so it looks straight, even though it might not technically be straight. And I really loved the end result. I did have a little bit of a battle with this corner I'm holding now because it kept popping out where there is a bulge in the wall, but the No More Nails did its job very quickly, very effectively. Highly recommend. I was expecting to have to come round afterwards and nail these on to support them, but the No More Nails did it. I didn't need, well, clues in the name, isn't it? I didn't need any nails. These things are going nowhere. I've put quite a lot of pressure on them to make sure they're going to stay on the wall, and they are going nowhere. When these bad boys come out, it will be a replaster. So they're staying on for a good long while. So I ended up doing 4 of these panel boxes in the smaller wood, and then I popped a dado rail all the way around as well. I will link where I got these pieces of wood from. When they first arrived, I thought they looked a little bit too chunky, but I absolutely love them. They were already pre-primed for painting as well, so they're literally cut, stick, go. So I'm really happy with how it's looking at the moment so far in the video. I'm just going around now and doing a little bit of caulking. This is maybe 5 or 6 hours later. The glue is very much done. Everything is down. Everything's looking amazing. So it's just a case of caulking before I go to bed, and then I'm going to leave that to dry and then come in tomorrow and get it painted at last. And then we will be on the final bit of this loo makeover. I can't believe this teeny tiny room has taken this long to do. I feel like I was waiting forever for this wood. It really did take a long time to arrive. I could have paid for faster delivery, but it was quite a lot for the faster delivery, and I don't have access to a car. I mean, most people probably could just pop down to Wickes or B&Q or any other kind of place like that and grab their wood paneling and have it there and then same day. But because I don't drive and I don't have access to a car that's large enough to pick up this size of wood, I think they were like over 4 meters long each piece. I did have to wait for delivery, which was 5 to 7 working days, I believe it was, but I forgot about the bank holiday weekend, so that slowed everything down. But now that it's here, I'm really happy with it. The company have done nothing wrong. It just, you know, when you're waiting for something, and I feel like Amazon has kind of spoiled us as well. You're kind of expecting stuff to come the next day, and it doesn't. So it felt like a really long time to wait for these, but I'm so pleased with them. It's really decent, thick wood. It's gonna last. It was lovely and easy to cut. It was already primed and ready to go, so I'm really thrilled with it. So we're finally on the last day. Finally! It's time to get some paint onto all of this wood trim and get this room finally finished. This took 2 coats. I spaced them about an hour and a half apart, and it's all done. Like, honestly, it looks so good. I'm glad that I took the time to go around and caulk everything properly. When I did the panelling in the lounge downstairs, I kind of caulked very slapdash very quickly, just like the big gaps, and I do regret that because you can really see how DIY the panelling downstairs is. I do need to address it. It's something that I do want to do, but practice makes perfect. I'm getting better and better every time I do things. I'm taking more care with things and trying to learn to accept that, you know, things don't happen overnight. Sometimes things take time, especially if you want them done properly. You just have to be patient and get them done properly. And I'm so happy with how this panelling's turned out. I was really quite worried that this look would make the room look very small, but it doesn't. You know, I was in there earlier kind of admiring it because it's now my favourite room. And it doesn't, it actually feels somehow bigger. I don't know how it works, but somehow it feels bigger now the panelling's on. It's got soul, it's got character, it fits exactly the kind of look that I'm going for with this house, and I'm so thrilled to have it done. I think what I am going to do with these videos is, obviously I have a part 1 and a part 2 of this toilet. I'm going to put them together into one video, I think, and then re-release it for anyone who comes to watch this later on. Those of you who have already watched part 1, thank you. And obviously watching part 2, again, thank you. But yeah, I'm going to put them all into one big video, and I'll just release that as like an extra video as and when I've got it done. I don't know if I'm going to redo the voiceover or not. So if you're listening to me currently yapping about it, I did not redo the voiceover. This is part 2. But yeah, I'm so thrilled with it. I'm going to finish this painting, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the room, show you all the things kind of up close so you can get a really good look at them. Like I say, all of the links for everything except that pesky handle will be in the description box below if they are still available. If they are not still available, I will put things that are kind of similar, I guess, in the description box below. So if you do want to try this, you can go for it. Cost wise, this has probably cost me I had the paint anyway, but if you don't, you'll have to factor in the paint cost. Probably somewhere between 150 and 200 to do this little room, which I think is a really good price considering how much I have changed in here. There are a couple of bits that I haven't done yet. I've got a light switch to change out, which I'm not brave enough to do yet. I've got an antique brass one that I haven't done yet. I need to do that still. But yeah, and obviously I need to get the replacement handle at some point too. But yes, about 150, 200 pounds. I'll figure it out properly, and I'll put that in the description box below. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you just hold on for a second after this voiceover, I will give you a little to camera tour so that you can have a really good look at everything that's been going on in here and all the new bits and bobs. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye bye. Okay guys, so this is it, all done, all finished. I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to give you like a little mini kind of tour. I'm just going to shut the door behind me so there's no other noise from the rest of the house. I've turned the extractor fan off, so hopefully it's nice and quiet in here. But I just want to show you it all finished so you can get a good look at it. The only thing that I have left to do is I have this light switch cover to go on here, which is going to look so much nicer, but I'm not quite brave enough to put that up yet. I might have to get a nice friendly Sparky to come and do that. So here is the panelling, all finished, all painted, done and dusted. It looks really lovely. Very happy with it. I did end up moving the loo roll holder. Oh, I forgot to sand that back though. I'll come back and, like a little snag report, come back and sand that back. But I did move the loo roll holder. I feel like it's a lot nicer there, like in between the two panels. Works nicely. Skirting boards all painted and done. And then up here, wallpaper's looking good. That was a nightmare. I'm never getting peel and stick again. We've got the rub and buff on the extractor fan cover, holding out really well, not caused us any problems. The mirror, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it gold. I might actually, I've got some spray paint, I might actually make that cream. I haven't decided yet, and everyone seems to like it gold, so we'll see how it sits with me. Got my little shelf here, got myself a little fake plant. I've got no natural light in here, so it has to be a fake plant. My little Buddha and an LED candle. Not going to burn anyone, not going to burn the house down, but I can put that on when we've got guests, and it's just nice. I've got a little snag here. This bit, do you remember me saying in the first video I've had to do like a couple of patches? This is not actually the patch is up here, but this is a bit below it, and it's like it's taken off some of the actual plaster, so I don't know how I'm going to stick that on, but I don't have any more with paper, so I've got to figure out that little snag. I've got my little unit here that I did with this spare bits of paper. So this is how that's looking. Really nice. I love it. I know I didn't film myself doing this bit, so I just covered the rest of the unit with some Oak Effect Fablon. So that's how that's looking. I didn't do the sides. I don't think they really need it. I think they're okay, but if it does start to bug me, I'll just paint the sides. I've got some cream paint, so I can do that. So that's looking really nice. I think I might actually keep that. Like I say, just the light switch there. And I do need to get a new door handle and fix this bit. Where I was popping this old handle back on, I slipped with the screwdriver and hit the paint. So yeah, I've just got a couple of little snags, but for the most part, it's all done. Oh, I got a new light shade as well, if you can really see it very well. That's really cute. It kind of scatters the light in a pretty way. But yeah, this is it all finished. I absolutely love it. I think it's looking really gorgeous. I'm trying to decide now what to do. These walls, these two side walls here and here are feeling very plain now. But I'm thinking if I put some kind of artwork on this one, I'm going to want to put artwork on that, and I think it might be too busy. The door opens right out onto this wall, so I'm thinking maybe a big piece of artwork on this side and on this side something else. I don't know, I can't quite figure out what I'm going to do with those. But yeah, that is the finished product. I hope you guys like it. I absolutely love it. It's my favourite room in the house right now. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.